If you're looking for love and don't know where to go, try Sam and the dating show.
Okay, do you care about body hair?
I mean, not really. Like, if it's unruly and untamed, like not neat, then yes, I'd kind of like be like, that's not my choice to make. If they get the hint, they get the hint. If not, oh well.
That's a good response. I would say similar attitude, but I personally, for my own self, I like to be groomed, so that's my preference. And I would like it if the other person is, but of course, at the end of the day, it's not my choice. Do you care about body count?
And I've had this discussion with my friend who does really care. Like, that's like his first thing. And I've had this discussion where, like, how do you even know if they're lying or not? So what's it even matter if you care or not? They can straight up lie, and what's the difference? So no, I don't.
Also same, I don't care about body count, but if someone asks about it, I'm just like, why does that matter? Like, I'll be open to sharing it, like, it's fine, but also like, why does that concern you, right? So what makes someone dateable versus someone you would just have a fling with and like not go down the line with anything serious?
The personality part makes it future looking. Like, if I can mesh with them on a personal level and they have like the personal qualities I look for, then yeah, that makes it more future forward. You'll see it like right off the bat sometimes. If you'll vibe with someone right away, like you don't have to spend a long time with them to know.
Do you ever play hard to get?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it's part of the thrill. If they can get what they want so easily, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be like worthwhile.
I have like mixed feelings about that because like, yes, I enjoy like that thrill and it's part of like the game. And like, I feel like, should I be growing out of this by now?
You play games too long, that's annoying. Like, the race has got to finish. You can't race forever. There's a point where you have to say like, okay, stop, like you won, like I'm not playing this game anymore.
What are your tactics to like play hard to get? Is it like a texting thing or playing hot and cold?
No, playing hot and cold is mean. Like, that's confusing. Like, you're sending someone mixed signals. Like, that's not fun. And I guess it's a texting thing because that's the world we live in. When you play hard to get, like, you see their message and you let it sit for a little and you want them to like feel like happy when they do get your message. Like, if they get your message consistently every 2 minutes, it becomes a routine. But when they get your message at a random time, they get it and they're like, wow, like I wonder what it is. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think I give much thought to how quickly I respond back to someone. Like, personally, I have read receipts on. My friends and I use it. It lets the other person know, okay, we got your message, and we determine whether or not it's like an urgent to reply immediately and or just reply at a later time. Yeah. I'm not always in a position where I can reply, but I can quickly like scan through what it is. And what would you say the percentage would be for like the looks versus personality?
I'd say it's a 50-50 split.
I don't know if it's, for me, it would be necessarily like exactly 50-50. I would say I probably lean more towards personality a little bit, but not by that much. Probably like 40-60. Do you ever ghost people?
I'm guilty of it, and I hate it because I hate it when it happens to me, and it does happen to me more often than I can admit.
I guess so. Why do you ghost people when you do? Or when you have in the past?
I just couldn't deal with the reality of the situation. Like, they wanted something that I can't provide. I feel better easing them off than just telling them straight up to their face.
See, that's where you're wrong. Well, I think you're wrong. The person doesn't feel better, because like when I've been ghosted, I don't feel better like having that person like ease off. Like, I'd rather just know point blank, okay, I'm not interested. And then I'd rather them just tell me versus like me wondering, you know?
But what if it doesn't work out and you tell them the reason and it's a reason that they can't control? Like, wouldn't you think that would bother them?
What's an example?
Like, if you stop talking to someone because you don't like say the way they look, like what can they possibly do?
Well, then at that point, instead of ghosting, I still think the better thing to do would be lying. Like, I can't be with you because then make up some like thing that they can change or whatever.
You're saying lying is better than ghosting, but ghosting is worse than saying the truth.
I mean, nothing's ever black and white. You also have to be cognizant on whether or not what you have to say will negatively impact them. Instead of sending a ghosting message, I'll usually send something like, oh, I don't think we click, blah, blah, blah. And it's like something very general that could be applied to anyone. So I don't usually pick a specific thing for why it didn't work out. I feel like that's still better than ghosting.
I would appreciate that. Like if it happened to me before, like I think I'd rather get that than nothing.
What's your biggest turnoff?
Having an I don't care attitude.
I would say mine is just someone who just doesn't try. Like, doesn't have any, like, motivation, ambition. How much detail do you share with your guy friends about, like, a girl when you're talking about a girl, when just any interaction with, like, someone else?
It also depends on which guy friends I'm talking to. Like, if I'm talking to my best friend, we have a very close relationship where we'd say everything, emotional wise or like sexual wise, like nothing's not on the table. But then to my other friends, it's a different kind of conversation. So I mean, to my best buddy, I say everything.
Yes, to my best friend for sure, like everything. And it doesn't matter like which stage it is, would be with that other person, like whether it be initially talking or like even further on, like I'll just tell her like every random detail. Do you notice someone's like scent or perfume?
Absolutely. That's part of your senses.
Like, sometimes someone becomes like instantly more attractive when they have a good scent on.
Yeah, and you start to associate like that scent with that person. Like your eyes can be, you spend enough time with someone, your eyes can be closed and you know like they're there.
Do you lose respect for someone if they get physical with you on the first date or first night versus someone who waits to, I don't know, a later date or
and if I really do care about him and kind of see myself with them, I'll wait and it won't matter.
Usually, if I agree to something physical and it's on a first date or a first night or whatever, it's because I don't see a future with them. That's usually why I would be okay with doing that, versus someone that I want to maybe test it out and see if there is anything further and explore that. I would kind of hold off. Like, I find that if I get physical with someone too soon before I get to further know them, like, then I just don't like them for some strange reason. Instead of getting attached to someone once I get physical, I get like detached. How do you feel about stretch marks?
Like just anywhere? Like is that a big deterrent? Not like if I really care about the person and they have stretch marks on their legs, like that's not the end of it.
It's definitely an insecurity of mine. Like I have stretch marks on my legs and I find I'm very insecure about that.
And some people might find that like attractive, like they might like that.
I mean, I've yet to find someone who finds it attractive, but I like the positive thinking. Okay, so when you meet someone, do you automatically categorize them into like a hookup versus girlfriend versus wife status? Like, you know, like just put them in those boxes of like whether you see a future with them or not.
That's something you can tell. It's like, even though you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, like you judge a book by its cover and you put a cover to that book.
I would say the boxes I usually put people into is like friend versus something more versus like something just physical. Okay, how do you know if someone is interested versus they're being nice? Like,
it is hard to tell because there is no black and white answer. Like they won't do A, B, C, and D, and then that's how you know you got it. But they'll do something and you'll be like, like they're actually interested. They're not just being nice.
Those things can be misinterpreted because there are multiple times where someone has told me, oh, I thought you were flirting with me, but I was not, and I was just being nice.
That maybe is because they need more experience and more of those actions need to pass through them for them to understand. Like they need to like build the experience, or maybe you're just flirting too hard.
I don't think I flirt like well at all. Like I don't think I can flirt at all. I just like talk. When should you let someone know if you're not looking for something serious?
This is where like people can become selfish, including me. Like if you're really enjoying yourself, you're gonna be selfish and keep enjoying yourself at the expense of the other person. So it's a matter of balancing how you want the other person to feel versus how you feel. Like there's no time frame. Like after a week, like can you tell someone that? Not really. Like stuff could develop.
A good time to tell them would be if they aren't aligned with what you guys are both looking for. Then that's
on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys aren't on that, then you have to make it clear. You shouldn't like just keep it going just at the other person's expense and just for your own reasons. But I think any sooner, you're just placing too many assumptions that the other person wants or doesn't want something. So I don't think you should necessarily say that too soon, unless you know for 1000% sure, like, okay, I don't see anything with you, and you just wanted to make it clear. Otherwise, I would say anything can happen. I feel like if you divulge that information too quickly, you're kind of preventing that from happening, or you're just not letting yourself take the opportunity. How did you first learn about the birds and the bees?
You just do it.
What?
You just, no one's gonna tell you, you just figure it out.
Do you sleep naked?
No.
Half naked?
Just in like my boxers. I also do just like to like live my life with less amount of clothes.
But I feel so uncomfortable without my clothes. Like I need to have like at minimum like a baggy t-shirt and like shorts on. I mean, I just wear that every day.
If we were on a Zoom call right now, I wouldn't be wearing a shirt.
Have you ever regretted an experience with someone, whether it be physical or anything in between?
And I guess you can interpret the word regret as you want, like, and it means different things maybe, but yeah. Because I regretted it getting to know someone and like it just ended. Like I think I rather have not known them than to know them and then having it ended and being in the pain. I invested a lot of time and effort and it went nowhere.
With that kind of expectation though, would you expect anything you put time and effort into always leads somewhere?
In my mind, yes. But in reality, it wouldn't make sense to always think like that, because then you wouldn't put time and effort into everything else.
I think it's wishful thinking. Like in the perfect world, yes, if you put like X amount of effort into something, you want to expect like something in return. More likely than not, it's not gonna work out that way. Not even in like the romantic sense with someone else, just like in life. I'm sure there's been plenty of projects where you like really worked super hard on it and you probably didn't get the result that you wanted. I mean, you could always spin something into a positive thing and you learn something from it. How do you feel about receiving pictures? Suggestive pictures.
I'm all game for it. If that's the way they express themselves and flirt, yes, I don't mind.
I mean, I figured either parties had to have asked for it. It shouldn't be like out of the blue.
Yeah, the first couple ones can't be out of the blue. It has to like be in context. It can't just be random.
There's a time, this is like what, 2 weeks ago? And I barely knew this person. And I woke up to a picture. I'm like, what is this? Like, I did not need to see this like first thing in the morning. And also personally, I don't care for them. I think it's more guys like them more usually. But for me, I'm just like, I could care less about them. Will there be a second date?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. So, this is the end of the date.
Like, are you gonna try to escape now?
No, I'm just telling you. Like, I don't. See, it's like, how do you end a virtual date? You know, it's so awkward.
You know, you just click leave meeting.
I'm gonna click it. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.